where you are by a minute here, and I'm out here on the deck of this apartment that I've got. Quite bright, that's why I've got sunnies and a hat on, and I'm looking to you for your feedback as to whether or not the audio is too loud or too soft, or is it too windy? Because if it is too windy, we'll go inside and get away. But beautiful today, just a light breeze, not too cold. And if you've not been to this city, have a look at this. Isn't it pretty? I love it. Okay, here's some comments. Audio is fine. Thank you to you for that. Good day to you. David's here. Beautiful David from Canada, looking after the stream, making sure no dickheads carry on. I can tell you that the lockdown in Lisbon... Oh, hello, Adelaide person. I'm an Adelaidean. Lockdown here in Lisbon is nowhere near as bad as what it is in Portugal, where I'm going on Tuesday. Because down there, we can't go out to a restaurant. Well, and some hotels have even cancelled people's bookings. A friend of mine had a booking at a hotel there, and they just said, sorry, we're closing. So he's had to come and stay at our hotel, which is still open. Staying at Portugal. So tell me now, people, if that's any better, although I'll be a little bit darker. Thank you for that feedback. Tell me now if the signal's any better. Otherwise, we're inside. I'm looking for your feedback. It doesn't load. It doesn't load. We have you back now. That's great. Well, I think we'll spend a minute or so out here, and then we'll go inside because I'm not going to hold this up all day. It's going to be crazy. Now, let's get some questions from you. Interesting questions. Perhaps to do with last race. Perhaps to do with this race. I am back. I am back. Yes, it's okay now because I've gone a little bit closer to the router. But yeah, you can still see those lovely colourful buildings in the background. And there's a castle up on the hill. Where is it? Is it? Yeah, there's a castle just up here. Yes, don't worry about what colour my toothbrush is. It's white with some other colours. Right. I'm loving Portugal, what I've seen of it, and it's not too much. It is an amazing place. I've had lots of time to do stuff, but I can't get out. I've really just got to be confined to barracks here because of the fact that that's part of the deal. But it's no big deal. I've got lots of videos to edit, and now my face is a little bit lighter because the sun is on it. Do you think George will be in the Mercedes next year? Too early. Ask me mid-year. Hello, Scotland. Do you think... Oh, I missed that one. Well, I was hoping, in regards to is the race going to be as interesting as last year, I was hoping that we didn't get some rain. And it looks like we're now not going to get rain on race day. But I do know that rain equals interesting races. But it's just uncomfortable to photograph in. But we just play with the cards we're dealt, hey? How do you deal with being away from home? No problem at all. Just do my stuff. Question from Monaco. I know F2 are there this year again. Where are they based with all the little... I don't know where the F2 paddock is. I know they drive down. That must be some distance away from the track because they drive on the streets and they close the streets to get the cars in and out. Obviously F1, they don't drive the cars, they're housed in the garage. Okay, a super chat. I'm also in Lisbon, says Folha. I hope that's pronounced your name correctly. I live here. Well, I would like to live here. I love Perth, but I would not object to having to live here. Look at that. It's just pretty. And down by the water is also nice. Well, we get these bells all the time, the church bells. They remind us of the time. Do I have any info? No, on Montreal GP. I just can't believe it hasn't been announced it's going to be cancelled. I really think they're just waiting to find a replacement venue. What food has been better so far, Italy or Portugal? Well, if you discount the fat value, Italy is sensational. I just ate pasta every day, and sometimes it was only one meal, but a lot of times it was two. Beautiful pasta. I haven't had much local food here. In fact, I've eaten pretty much crap, unfortunately, except for one great steak. Question there I missed. What is your experience here this weekend with the restrictions? Well, there are no restaurants open at night. There are no shops open after 1 p.m. I don't think any shops are open today, and somebody said it was a public holiday, which, of course, when you're travelling, you've got no idea what is going on in these places. When is the first time you'll visit the track? Tuesday is the first time. I have to go out there and get a COVID test. And I can't go to the track. I would like to go out Wednesday and photograph stuff, but they say, no, you've got to stay away until Thursday. It's all precautionary. So you just follow the rules. I don't know about the Indian GP. No idea. Do you have stocks? Stocks? What sort of stocks? Shares? Stocks for skiing? You tell me. The beaches are beautiful. I've not really been down the beach. So, Portugal, of course. Yes, right. Well, I'll have to drive past some, I imagine. Where would you like to go? I'd like to go to Istanbul, definitely. And I've already booked accommodation in Istanbul, hoping that is the race that replaces it. But I also believe that Mugello is on the cards. Mugello and one other. I can't quite remember it. I've got this now. I've got my camera perched on a light, so hopefully it doesn't fall over. You should come to Lagos. Well, if I had a hotel in Lagos, I probably would come to Lagos, but I'm not unlikely to get there, I don't think. While I would love the Canadian GP to be still on, I think it's unlikely. And yeah, as I agree with you, that it's remarkable that we're so close to it and it yet has not been called off. If you had another sport to photograph, what would it be? I don't really know. What would it be? I can't even tell you. This one's the best anyway, that's what I reckon. What's your favourite moment of your career as a photographer? Well, I think it was probably last weekend. On Sunday at, what are we now? Sorry, there's another question here. I'll come back to that one in a sec. You should go to Pastéis de Belém, best pastries in the world. It's a public holiday and celebration at the end of the dictatorship almost 50 years ago. Thank you very much for that information. I will look up Pastéis del whatever that is. Thank you for the suggestion. Much appreciated. Okay, now I've forgotten what I was answering before. Can somebody remind me what that was? I've got to get this off the screen and I can't. Yes, I can. No, that's too bright. I think we should go inside. Let's cut our losses here. Be a better signal. And I can take these glasses off. Here we go. Right, let's see if I can position this nicely. There we go. Oh, hello, there's another one. I've got to get my other glasses out for that. LP metal detecting. I have a metal detector in Perth. And people often rent it from me because I run a lot of businesses, or a few little small businesses in Lanson. And they rent it to go and find rings that they lose on the sand dunes. They'll spend 2 or 3 hours looking, don't find it, go to get the metal detector and bang, they've got it. Thanks for bringing us on your journey. That's my pleasure. COVID stops us enjoying F1, yes. It stopped me enjoying it last year too, as we'd usually be able to. Keep up the great work. And free to us, that's right. And thank you for your super chat question there. Yeah, it is largely free if you wish it to be, although I can tell you that my NFTs, I sold 4 NFTs last week. My son had been pushing me big time to sell them, and I put 11 up. I think I sold 5 for pretty good money. So I'm a devotee now of NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Phil Francis, thank you for all your content. Great stuff. Treat yourself to a local sweet delicacy if you can on me. Look, for that sort of money, I could get about a kilo's worth of fat into my body, I reckon. But last night's meal was good. It was very good. But what a beautiful apartment this is. I have really been very fortunate. Your greatest photo... Oh, that's right. This question here from Milton is your greatest photographic regret, missed opportunity. It was almost certainly last Sunday at about this time, no, a couple of hours later, when I missed the 2 cars coming towards me, George and Valtteri, with that crash. And I'll tell you, if you watch my video, you'll know this, but I'll recap for those people who didn't watch that video. I had shot my last picture at that photographic hole, and I then packed up my stuff and I went to walk away. I walked 5 metres and bang, these two cars come flying past me left to right, and I go, oh, look at that. And then I grab my cameras and go back to that photographic hole and take my next picture. Between taking the last picture and the one just after the crash, 44 seconds. So you can understand that I was so close to getting that shot of those cars out of control coming towards me. But you'll always have regrets and missed opportunities. Now I've got to go back to that. Here we go. Rick Dobson, great content as always. Keep it up. Okay, I will. I've got a video that I'm editing today. Maybe it'll be up tonight, more likely tomorrow some stage. And this is the cars that the drivers drove to the track last race. Hi from Brazil, says Tiago Cordosa. Do you miss Brazilians competing? No, I don't miss Brazilians competing. I fear that we won't be going to your country this year as well. And I love coming to your country. It's always an interesting race. It's a great venue. I like it. So thank you to those people on Super Chat who are getting to the top of the queue and making sure their questions are addressed. Best track you've ever been at? Oh, best track. I don't know. As soon as I hear that question or see that question, I think for food, it would have been last weekend at Imola. The canteen was amazing. I like Abu Dhabi because it's nice and easy to get around the track. You get shuttle buses that take you in and out, and it's modern, clean, great media centre. Hopefully that gives you some idea. Miami GP, yeah, sounds interesting. I bet they don't miss us on the accommodation prices in Miami. That will be horrendous. Jonathan Winton, are you flying BCN with Vueling or TAP? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going direct. At some point I have to check that. My office did that one. I wish I could watch more of the stream, but I have to study for my law test, says Foller. Enjoy Lisbon, a visit. Okay, yes, I'm definitely going to go and see if I can get a pastry from that place. Perhaps I should write that down. And will they indeed be open today? And what pastry do you recommend, by the way? Here's another one. I'm fairly new to the channel, so sorry if previously cut. What led you to F1 photography, and do you... I missed the second bit. What led me to F1? I went to the 2016 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I booked a Red Bull package. I was standing in the back of the garage, listening to Daniel, talking to the engineer. It was all very quiet and relaxed. And at that point, I thought, right, I'd like to photograph this, because I'd just done a photographic book on Africa, and it was great. But I decided I didn't want to go to Africa anymore, so I decided, let's try this. And here we are, some 156,000 Instagram followers later, and 91,000 YouTubers later, we're in this position. Jonas Fleming, hello from Norway. Do you think these disappear. Do you think the street races will go ahead? I think Monaco will go ahead. I just don't know what number of spectators they will allow and what the protocols will be. I do fear, hello Nemo G, I do fear that if you're staying on, say, a boat, they won't be able to serve you alcohol on a boat. They won't be able to serve you food. You'll get a packed lunch, I believe, when you get on the boat, and that is yours to eat. So it's going to be markedly different from any other Monaco GP that there's ever been, I would imagine, due to this plague. What do you think of the circuit of Spa? Yeah, I like it. It's long, it's very hard to get around and photograph. I've never even photographed probably a third of the track. It's just too far away, and I don't worry about doing it. Hello, Helsinki. Nice to see someone from Helsinki. We had someone the other day from Trinidad. All over the world you are. It's very interesting. 347 people on a Sunday afternoon. Do you follow AFL? Yeah, I used to be my company was a sponsor of F1, not F1, AFL. Sponsored the West Coast Eagles for many years, but not anymore. And I still follow the West Coast Eagles, but quite frankly, I haven't watched a game in years. Just not that interested. How are you rating your chance about your Rolex bet with your son? I think I've absolutely floored him. But I must say, he's made enough money to buy that Rolex. He's got into some of those Bitcoin things and has put me to shame with his investment prowess. Well done to him. He's on a roll. And if you aren't a member of my channel, I'm going to urge you to be one. You get a special emoji, you get preference, you get some perks, and if you're a VIP, you also get... What do you get? Oh, you get your name at the end of my videos too. I put up one last week about the cars drivers drive to the track, and I think I might have mentioned this earlier, but 150,000 views in a week, one of my better ones. Which Formula One figure of all time would you like to have? Senna. Ali Sydney, at tracks you haven't been to before, how do you decide where to take photos from? I do the track walk on the Thursday, and I pay close attention. I also look and see what other people have shot. I speak to local photographers, and I had a lovely guy, Matteo Marchi, told me a couple of spots. One I couldn't shoot at because it was what is regarded as a red zone. In other words, we can't go in to that area. What are the whispers about Gene Haas? Well, that team's going to be sold to Mazepin. Would you ever do Bathurst? No, I did actually ask last year because we were back in Australia in lockdown, but never got an answer from them. I don't know. If they invited me and allowed me, yeah, I had nothing else to do, I'd go and do it. Following the IPL, no, I have no interest in that. Which driver is the most friendly and chatty with photographers? Seb is always chatty, not so much with photographers, but he's chatty with anyone he knows well. I got some nice pictures of him having a chat with an ex-Red Bull, or not a current Red Bull guy who has been with the team for 13 years. Barbagello, Henry Velkovsky, well-known F1 fan. Yeah, I have photographed a day out at Barbagello, I think. Yeah, not great track, is it? But I used to drive a bit around there. No, photographer spots are not fixed. We can wander wherever we can get to. And I believe at Portimao, and I will stand corrected, my gut feel is that there's a track inside and out that we take our bus around, which is a lot better than Imola, because that was a nightmare to get anywhere. You had to go out in the outside streets and then come back into the track. Yes, I believe honestly that they'll get rid of Monaco this year. Ever been to the Perth Motorplex? I've actually driven on the Motorplex track during one of the Targa Rally events. And I remember Paul Summers pranging his car on that thing. He actually has a car that's owned by Daniel Ricciardo now. It's a Porsche of some sort. And he pranked it rather badly on the very opening stage of a Targa event. Hello, Pat Irvine. Looks grand, Kym. It is grand. Thank you for being a member of the page. See, membership has its privileges, and I'm going to urge all of you to become members, every single one of you. It's only a couple of dollars a month. And all your questions have now disappeared as we're 19 minutes in. Which is your favourite F1 photo you've taken all time? Well, the question that's asked 3 and 4 times, and every one of these, it's the Daniel Ricciardo coming onto the grid, but maybe I like the George Russell shot from last weekend better. They're different types of pictures. And the Daniel shot was one that sold as an NFT too. So somebody out of China, I think, owns that. Hello, New Zealander Juno. Have you ever visited NZ? Yes. A couple of times I've transited through there. I came over there once and stayed at Methven to go skiing. I lasted 2 nights and did not like having to bus up there and back. So I came home early. I don't know about F1 going back to India. I don't know what it was like there. I don't know whether F1's planning. Do teams or drivers speak to you and ask you to... Yes and yes, occasionally. But understand that if there's 18 photographers, a driver's not going to stop and have a chat to you. And then if they do, the other photographers are saying, Kym, get out of the way, which happened the other day. Do you think the new Miami track will be nice to shoot? Well, I watched that simulated lap the other day just to get a feel for it. It looks like they come reasonably close to the wire occasionally, which is great photography-wise. Yeah, any new track's interesting because we're all on the same level then, every photographer. Yes, I'll do F1 wives and girlfriends in 2021 at some stage between now and the end of the year. Hi, Slovakia. What are your Portimao Grand Prix predictions? Does it matter? Max, Lando, Bottas. There you go. For what it's worth. I wouldn't put any money on it. Would you hire me as your assistant? Are you accredited? Can you get into the track? It's no good if you can't get into the track. How did you become an F1 photographer? I've already mentioned that before. I applied through the FIA website and put a case study to them. They liked it and they said yes. If they didn't like it, they would have said no, and you would not be listening to what I'm saying here. Why don't you go to Formula E? Because I'm not accredited for Formula E. Yeah, I'm good, Giuseppe. Thanks for that. Other questions? Team driver you support? I don't support anyone. I'd just like to see a bit of excitement up the front. I don't want to see a one-horse race all the time. It's not good for the sport, and I think it bores a lot of people, except Lewis fans who would be thrilled, because everybody loves to back a winner. Yes, Bottas shot did well post-race. Valtteri posted it, and I think I got about 500. Oh, I know I got 500 Twitter followers from it, because I'm never on Twitter. I never use the thing, and I've had one journalist from somewhere up in the Nordic countries mentioned me going back a while ago, and 1,000 followers from that, and I got 500 from Valtteri's, and I really should make an effort and put something up, but I don't, and probably got 500 or 600 on YouTube, which, not YouTube, I might have got some on YouTube, but more so on Instagram. Somebody said McLaren, right. Which one's your favourite track? What to shoot? Monaco. As I said, I should have a sign that just sits here, right there. It says Monaco's my favourite track to shoot. Monaco's my favourite track. And shortly, it looks like we're going to be going back there to shoot it. Still haven't got any accommodation booked, and probably won't until the very last minute. We'll see what's available. I think there'll be some great last-minute deals, because I just don't think that they're going to be able to fit as many people as they want into that venue. I think people will cancel at the last minute. No, F1 does not give me a salary. Yeah, put it in the title or description. Yes, okay, that's a good idea. And note this, please. Don't ask it. Then the dickheads will just ask it anyway. Will Gene Haas sell during this season? I think he'll sell at some point, and Mr. Mazepin will be the buyer, and Gunter will be the manager. That's what I think. And I say that with a little bit of confidence. Yes, I've seen the Netflix crew this season, every race. In fact, I took a picture because somebody asked, what type of equipment do they use? And I'll put a post up later today about that, because you've reminded me, and I did take a photo and asked the boys, and they gave me all the details. It's major kit. It's warm. It is warm outside. No scarf required. I've even got shorts on. It's that nice. Do you play chess? I love chess. I'm hopeless, but I like backgammon. I play against my phone in backgammon. I'm trying to look with one eye over the camera there and one eye at the screen. That's impossible. They're all linked up, the eyes, aren't they? Milton, after watching your video on watches, I went and bought a tag. Right. Tell Tag that, and hopefully I persuaded you and they can do something nice for me. My video of drivers' shoes has gone pretty well, and I did love the white on-runnings that Lance had on, and I wear on-runnings for F1 because, and these are them, they're just the most comfortable shoes. But this one's coming apart at the back, and they really should fix that. Give me another pair, because that's not good PR. Do you think Haas will leave F1? No, I don't. I think Mazepin's buying it. What do I think of Lisbon? I love Lisbon, Alyssa. I absolutely love it. It's a really remarkable place, and especially when you have a balcony like that. How could you not love the joint? I don't know what this is next door. Look at that next door. What is that? Maybe a Lisbonite can tell me. It looks like just some sort of structure. I don't know. Maybe it's ancient. Lots of love from India. Yes, I get a lot of love from India. Thank you for the Indian love. Do you think the title fight will go down to Abu Dhabi? Yeah, I think there's a chance. Melbourne won't have a crowd. They won't have a race. I'll give you an example. Yesterday in Perth, or the day before, somebody was in a hotel quarantine. They got out. They must have tested negative. They got out. They went to a whole lot of Chinese restaurants and universities, and then they flew to Melbourne. And then they realised that they had COVID, and they must have picked it up at the hotel, which is very unfortunate for that person. And as a result, all of Perth has been locked down for 3 days. You can't travel outside that area. The state's been blocked off to eastern staters. And we're thinking about bringing 1,100, 1,200 people in for Formula One in November to Melbourne. No, I can't see it happening. Is there a chance of rain? Well, there was 2 days ago, but now no. Well, a minor chance. I hope a hire car company or anyone but Mazepin will buy that team. A car company, oh. No, I think Mazepin's going to get it. What race am I looking forward to photographing? This next one, because I've never been there. And that's and also the Istanbul race, which I think we'll get later in the year. Best interaction with a driver or team member so far this year? Oh, okay, the other day. Britta and Auntie, Seb's two main support people, stopped and said, come on, Kym, let's have a two-shot. So I got a shot of both of them without their glasses on, but with their masks. That was nice. No, I haven't eaten the pasties de Belém, but I'm apparently going to have some today. What do you think of Bahrain? Yeah, I liked it more this time because I spent a lot of time there, and the hotel I stayed at was fantastic. Again, I stayed there a couple of times, so yeah. But I'm glad I'm not there now. I like going somewhere different, and quite frankly, I'm probably only a day away from being bored with this joint, and then, of course, I get a new joint. No, I'm not doing favourite circuits to photograph. Life is good at the moment. Never went to the Indian GP. Thank you for that question. I think Mazepin will shrug off his tarnished image very soon. Well, the longer it goes and the longer he keeps his nose clean, the better off he's going to be. And I think hopefully he's learned a lesson. He did say hello on the track walk the other day, which was nice because he made a funny put a funny emoji on that video that I did, or the Instagram post about the video of him coming in that blue car in Bahrain. What do you call that thing? Like a tank, police thing. Which driver do you think will score a surprise podium this year? I don't know. Ocon, I'll guess Ocon, see how we go. Mercedes or Ferrari? I like Ferrari. F1 memory, favourite F1 memory? No, nothing comes to mind. Lots of them. Are you allowed on the track between sessions when it's not a hot track? No, during sessions the track is almost... Oh, sometimes we get to cross the track. Like in Baku, when between 1 and 2, they have a bus that runs around the track to pick us up. So at that period we can go onto the track. Hello to... Oh, we've got a new VIP member. Good news, everybody. Wooden Banana's here with us. Wooden, you get your name at the end of the videos. Once my graphics people note that you're a new VIP member, and a VIP member is worth becoming. I suggest you do it. Is there a bus for media transport? I don't know about that in Portugal. I'm sure there's buses, because there's buses at every track, but it just depends on where we go. Hope we get an awesome race. Yeah, because the difference for me between Bahrain and Imola was huge. Bahrain I hated. Just hated the race. I didn't think I was getting great photos anywhere. I wasn't in a spot where I felt anything might happen, but it was the complete opposite for Imola. Well, who do you think will perform better, Alonso or Ocon? Alonso? My bold prediction is that Latifi will not only win a race, but the title. Yeah, okay, well, you want to get some money on that early, get the big odds. Thank you, David, for deleting WWE fan. Sounds like he might be a bit of a dipstick. And it's still sunny outside with bright white clouds around, different coloured houses. I've never really been an F1 fan. I've enjoyed it, but I'm not fanatical. Have you went to Turkey? I've never went to Turkey before, but I want to go to Turkey, that's for sure. What lens most of the... I've always got a 70 to 200 on. It's the other lens that I swap. I might go long or short on the other one. Do you think all teams made progress? No, I'm not qualified to answer that. Who do you think is the funniest person among all of the teams? Funniest. I would have said Nico last, or the year before last, but I'll come back to that if I have anyone that jumps to mind. Are your driver books updated? Yes, they are updated with this year's photos. Like the George one would be great. Might even put that as the cover pic. But the beauty of them is that until somebody orders one, I don't go and change them. So if you go and order the George book, like I've already had lots of Charles and Daniel books, so they're changed. But some of the drivers at the lower end of the teams, the ones that don't sell as well, as soon as somebody orders a George book, I'll go and change those pictures. It takes 10 minutes. And that's the beauty of print on demand. You're not getting old stuff. Most of the time the weather is good, even with the storm. Okay. Thank you, Lupo Danesh. What is the temperature out there? It'd be 19 Celsius. How do you like the food in Portugal? I haven't tasted much of it. Not the local stuff. I've eaten stuff from the Continent supermarket just over there. Careful on the messages, yes. How did you like? Well, I've answered that one. Any expectations in the upcoming race? No, no expectations. Lewis and Max, there you go. It's all going to be Lewis and Max and then some outliers. Travelling to any new places you haven't visited? Yes, this is one I haven't visited, and I want to go to Turkey. So I think we've got that on the record now. We don't have to go back there. Do you think Lando will beat Daniel by the end of the season? No, I think Daniel, once he gets used to the car, will be perhaps the better driver. Although, maybe I'm wrong. And okay, somebody's asked, what size cards do you use during a weekend? Okay, so I have... Will that focus on that? Oh, I've got to put it there, don't I? Yeah, that's... Is that coming out reversed to you? That's 128 gig, which is for this camera, which I rarely shoot. That's mainly done for video outside the track, but I take it along. West Coast is the answer, by the way, to your question. And the other ones are these 512 gigabyte CF Express cards. Now these are at least €400 each, and I need 5. But if you shoot a 1DX Mark III, you need these cards because they're super quick and also super quick to download, and the files are big. How big is your overview of the races when you're at the track taking photos? Oh, I got clueless. I'm clueless, especially the first 2 races, because this bloody F1 app, and I hate it. It rarely works properly. The audio, I was getting no audio, so I couldn't hear what was going on. I was relying on a couple of people to send me some messages, and occasionally I'd be within view of a screen, but often we're just completely in the dark. I don't know what's happened until I get back to the media centre or sometimes back to the hotel. Other thing, which driver are you most friends with? I speak to a number of them. I'm not friends with anyone. You wouldn't go out and have a drink with them. Well, I've had meals with a couple of them, but yeah. Unfortunately, we can't associate with the drivers because they're in a separate bubble to us. What did you think would be asked versus what is actually asked? I thought people would say favourite track, favourite photo, how do I become a photographer, just the standard stuff. I didn't expect to be asked about what colour my toothbrush was. What cameras do you use? Right, well, I use this thing here, which is a Canon 1DX Mark III. I have 2 of those. This is a 70-200 lens. Then I've got a host of other lenses that I carry. Most of the time it's 70-200, 600mm and a 16-35. That gives me enough coverage. Yes, I used to photograph cities and landscapes to a certain extent, but I would normally head away. If I had 2 races back to back, I would have a couple of days to do that. But certainly I wouldn't have 10 days, because if I had 10 or 12 days, I'd go back to Australia. But now I can't go back to Australia. It's almost physically impossible, so I've got to stay away, and that gives me a lot of time to shoot, and we can't shoot away from the track, unfortunately. Thoughts on the dramatisation of Lawrence Stroll in this year's Drive to Survive? Did they dramatise Lawrence? Oh, well, they didn't do much of a job on it because it didn't stand out to me. If you had to remove 2 drivers from the current lineup, who would they be? Lewis and when I say Lewis, because then that would open up to perhaps some more even racing. He's just simply a class above everyone else. Or he's in the best car. No apartment tour, it's too messy. What do you think about Kevin Magnussen teaming up with his dad? Wasn't that lovely? Wasn't that lovely? Yeah, I liked it. And he's a bit taller than his dad. Got a lot more hair too. Do you think the drivers will go directly to Spain? Yes, I do think that. Have you tried shooting a race with a tilt shift? Yes, I've got a 45 tilt shift, but it's a real novelty lens, isn't it? And you've got to be up high. So I wouldn't bring one away to you for a whole year and cart it round for maybe 20 shots, 20 spots a year. I wouldn't do it. And unfortunately, we can't borrow those lenses from Canon this year because no Canon or Nikon at the track. Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, never watched either. Egg tart, yes, I had one yesterday. I had half of it. Didn't love it, not me. Miami is one of the best places in the whole world to photo shoot, definitely, okay. Are you from Miami? What are you thinking of Lisbon, Radio, for the 4th time? I like it. It's a lovely spot. When did I start photographing? Probably when I was 20. Been doing it for ages, but didn't get reasonably good at it until I started wildlife photography. And you can buy my Africa on Safari book at kymillman.com. And I should also say that you should become a member of this page by clicking on the join button. It's worthwhile. You get some added extras. And if you want to buy a driver's photo book, you can get that at kymillman.com. And if you want to buy a digital image and have it printed, like a couple of people did this week, some nice pictures from Variante Alta sold, and people get them blown up large and perhaps put on a wall in their house if you take the full-size photo. Has Dimitri Mazepin showed up this year? Yes, I got a photo of him and his son in Bahrain on maybe race day. When are you going to the Algarve? Tuesday. I'm going to drive down in a car. Wonder what I'll see, and I hope the weather's sunny. What's my dream car to own? I've got a 911 Turbo, and I don't reckon there's too much better than that. Favourite animal? My dog, Mickey. Poodle, lovely. Have you ever photographed any other motorsports? No. Okay, thank you to someone who adores me. You need to get out more, I think. Which driver are you closest terms with? I speak to a number of them, but not mates with any of them, really. Have you considered getting your office to call you during the race and play the... Oh, that would cost a lot of money. No, but actually, you know what? I've got a VPN set up, and I think I can get BBC 5 coverage via the VPN because it'll think I'm a British person. But of course, I won't know until the weekend. You are tackler, yeah? Could be good or could be bad. Where did you go during the red flag? I stayed where I was, and I uploaded that picture, which had some 20,000 likes. Had a reach of well over 100,000 people. It was a great opportunity, and I love red flags when something's happened in front of me because it does take sometimes a lot of time to get a photo up. And to physically tell you what I have to do, I have to press a button. I have to pick the photo, press a button on the camera. It gets sent up to my office via a dongle, and then I have to find it in Dropbox. Now that can sometimes take minutes depending on the internet. I have to get it off Dropbox and onto my phone. I have to edit it, which doesn't take that long. I have to put a watermark on it because I don't want any bugger stealing it, and that's what people do when you don't put a watermark on it. And then I have to put it up on Instagram, and I have to write a caption. That can take 10 minutes. So if you get a 15-minute red flag, it's fantastic. Right, Rishi. Remember I sent you a video on Instagram on why Max Verstappen doesn't like... Yes, I did watch that, and I had seen it somewhere else because he felt it was somewhat contrived and they just beat up a story. Plane going over. Now all my questions have disappeared now. I have to wait for them to come back. But the weather report for this day is nothing like what I'm seeing out there. Look at that. Look at that. Blue sky and lovely houses, a bit of light breeze. What should improve at the tracks for photographers? Some tracks need more photographic windows because it's very difficult. Shooting through the wire, it's annoying. So almost every driver knows most of the photographers. No, I don't know. I don't know who they know. They probably know Mark Sutton because he's been around a long time and he is often out there at driver arrivals. But someone like a Clive Mason, who is a supreme photographer for Getty, I'm not sure he'd ever really interact with them. So I don't think they'd know him. And I think they know me because I'm quite prolific on Instagram, whereas I'm not sure what the other guys do. Do you feel homesick? Not yet. Not yet. Yesterday I was a bit bored, if anything, but thankfully, like if I was in a hotel room, I don't think I'd like it one bit. So it's important that if I'm going to be staying somewhere for a week and staying in the premises, I need something sizable and comfortable. What was that one? What was the Rolex one? Where's that one gone? I can't find that one now. Something about Rolex. Loving the vlogs. Love from Hungary. I like Hungary. I hope things have improved enough for us to be able to eat at a restaurant in Hungary. Did you have a favourite driver growing up? No, I was aware of Senna and I was aware of Schumacher. Got Schumacher's autograph once at the Adelaide airport. It was quite lovely. 42 minutes gone. We're 2/3 the way through. I've got a call later on today with a driver's trainer. I'm going to ask a few questions about what it's like to be a trainer for an F1 driver. And one of the questions I want answered is, what is protocol after a crash? Because last race, both drivers were very close to me, and I had eye contact with both, and George walked past me. And I don't know what the protocol is. Obviously, you don't stop and have a chat with them, but yeah, what is regarded as protocol? And what does a trainer do when their driver rolls back into the paddock and is probably furious? How do they handle that situation? I think that's an interesting question, and I'm very interested in the answer. How did you like Abu Dhabi? I like the track and I like the race. I don't like the city that much. Not much for me to do there. I love that mosque. That is something special. Should be able to eat in a restaurant when I come to the UK. No legal social distance, but will we still have to wear masks? Nice to go to a country where we can get away without wearing a mask, but unfortunately I'm not a fan of any of the accommodation around the track at Silverstone. I've stayed in a Holiday Inn, I've stayed at that Whittlebury Hall, I've stayed at some Premier Inn, and all of it is lacklustre. But there is a new hotel on the track, but I'm not sure it's going to be ready this year. Look, I'd probably just splash out the money on that, because some tracks we get really good bargains and other tracks are really expensive and they tend to even out. Thoughts on the Miami track? I had a look at it the other day on that simulation. It looked interesting. Looked long to me, lots of corners. Here's a member. See, members get preference. If you want your question seen, you become a member, and then if you want your question definitely to be seen, you go and stump up some money on Super Chat. Now, where is that question from a member? Did I lose that? No, here it is. Silverstone is odd because it's just in the middle of nowhere and a bit of a nightmare. Yeah, I know. And there's nothing of any quality around there. But they're unlikely to move the track anytime soon to anywhere that's got any decent accommodation. That's why I like Singapore, Melbourne. Yes, I have a house in Lancelot and Perth. Yeah, those places are great because there are so many options, and they're from very high end to low end, and that's what you need, I think. Are you excited? I think you mean excited for the Dutch GP? Yes. Once again, that's a new track I haven't been to, but I understand that they have to have a crowd there for it to go ahead, and I don't know what's happening in Holland. Anyone tell me what the Netherlands situation with COVID's like? Is it looking good? Which food is better, Silverstone or Melbourne? Food? Melbourne by a mile. Oh, are you talking around the track? Yeah, Melbourne's got all sorts of restaurants. And if you're talking about the paddock, Silverstone's probably better. Not the paddock, media centre. Canon, Nikon? Don't know. Here's a... Oh, Milton, you've upgraded. Thumbs up to you. Or 2 thumbs up to you. He's now a VIP member. You'll get your name at the end of my videos once my guys do the new graphics, so thank you for that. And you also get some exclusive content from time to time. I throw up stuff that is just for you. Who's at fault, Russell or Bottas? I don't know. Whoever the experts said is at fault, that's who's at fault. I think it's a racing incident. What do you think of Singapore as a city? Yeah, amazing. Amazing that it's come out of nothing to become such a world power, and it's so small. And I've got a company there too, so it's a great company. Does quite well. And thank you to my Singapore staff. If you're watching this, because you've had a battle, I know, like my Perth staff have over the past year. $100 to put on Verstappen or Hamilton. Yeah, I put it on Max because I think he's going to be better odds, and he's a chance. COVID in Holland is thumbs up. Nice. Never been to Greece. Be a nice place to go and now, wouldn't it? With a warm day and just lolling about on a beach. Box F1 Sutton for the F1 photographer title. Okay. Could you show us around the apartment? No, it's messy. Have you upgraded your Mac laptop to cater for the large file size? I've got the very largest Mac hard drive available, and I have to constantly, because I'm doing video, pull stuff off and put it onto these things. And I have a number of these things, and every now and then I send them back to Australia and get more. Happy to hear, member. Good on you, Milton. From somewhere, I don't know where you're from, but you get a little emoji. Senator, you're asking about Miami next year, too far off. Who knows what's going to happen? I'd like to go. You always talk about your staff. What do? Well, they run a company called Messages on Hold for me, and there's 45 of them in Perth. And there are script writers, copywriters, same thing, graphics people, audio engineers, accounts people, all sorts. Dutch government start opening the... I have a look at messagesonhold.com.au. Dutch government opening shops and terraces, but only to satisfy the people. The numbers in hospitals and ICUs are rising, so a lot of people don't get their hopes up. Okay. And India is in all sorts of strife. I've read 2 stories this morning about 1 million people in 3 days have got it, and there's not enough oxygen. So a very sad story there, and I know a lot of Indians are trying to get into Australia at the moment. Cheers from Austin, Texas. Kota is half an hour from my place. Well, that's about the city, isn't it? The city's about half an hour from the track. Go to breakfast, surely bacon and eggs. No, I don't eat bacon and eggs. I eat eggs, but not bacon. Have your camera ever captured... Oh, I've lost that comment now. A live crash. No. Oh, no, not a crash. You've got to be lucky. You've got to be in the right spot at the right time, and you have to be ready. I've missed a couple, but not big ones. Well, yeah, that one last week was a big one. Do you think that there might be too many races in a few years? Yeah, I don't think I could get to all of them if they have too many. Who's your favourite raceman, Lauder or James Hunt? I don't know much about either. No comment. Sittard in Holland, is that? Is that the whole blue, white and red flag? Hello to you, travel tip. I got a good travel tip on my next video. It's a ripper. Favourite track on the current calendar? No, I've answered that question. How long have you been doing photography? All right. I've answered that one too. Since I was about 20, I've been doing photography, but not as much as this. What's your predictions for the next race? Yeah. Max to win. There you go. Lando second, and then I said someone else third. Bottas third. So don't ask that one again. I am 20 minutes from the circuit that everyone wants to have on the calendar. What is that circuit? Tell us. I'll answer that question. What do you think of the 2020 Sakir layout to come back this year? Oh, the short one? I don't know. I didn't photograph it last year, obviously, and it was in the dark when I was around there this year. I've got no idea about the corners in Portugal. None at all. Haven't even looked. Do you think laptops are non-essential? No, laptops are essential. When you choose apartments, do you go through Airbnb? I do all sorts of things. Airbnb is one, hotels.com, friends, all sorts. You are going to enjoy the drive to Algarve. Good. I want to stop a couple of places and just have a look on the way. Would I say I have the best job in the world? Don't know. It's interesting. I had a very boring job last year. I just hung around and waited for the year to finish. He has the best job in the world. I've answered that question. Would you stop asking the same questions? Who's your photography inspiration? Well, I mentioned this last one. Joe McNally is a guy that I read all his books on how to photograph. He's not an F1 photographer. He's not a sports. He's done a bit of sports, yeah. But I just loved the way he explained how to capture light. And that's what it's all about, understanding the light. And no one ever is perfect at it, and I've got a long way to go, but yeah, I love it. Milton, I loved last year's tracks. Oh, I don't even understand what that is. You have to retype that. I might have a mistake in that. You ever been to Ireland? Yes. I've been to Belfast for the Young Business Achiever of the Year Awards in '95, where I represented Australia. Didn't win. Had a nice trip though. How much does it cost to travel? Well, a lot. Fucking hell, it's the same questions over and over. It's a pleasure to share my thoughts with you, Michael. If you have the interest to hang around and listen to it all, I'm more than happy to tell you. I'm from Belfast. Good on you. Falls Road in the Shankill. I loved last year's rack despite no crowds. Yes. I can't even remember what happened at Portugal. I'll have to go back and have a look. If I could photograph only one team all weekend, who would it be? I'd photograph McLaren, I think. I like both of the drivers. I think they have a good-looking livery. I really don't like the Aston Martin. So it happened on numerous occasions last week where I'd see cars come out in practice sessions and I'd photograph them, and then I'd think that their cars came out and I thought they were Mercedes. And then two Mercedes had come along and I go, hang on, we just had... Oh, right, that's Aston Martin. So I don't like their colour scheme from one angle, but on the other angle, it's fantastic. Austin has the best barbecue on earth. Yeah, look, I've never had that barbecue stuff. I probably should. But I've got some books on how to cook it. When am I leaving Portimao? I don't know. It's either Sunday night or Monday. I haven't checked yet. There is a rumour about a team having a rebrand next year. No. Oh, is there? Whatever. Maybe it's Haas. Someone's from Sydney. What time is it in Sydney? What are we? 1 o'clock, 8. That's 11 hours. 11 hours different from here. So it's not too late. Do you like the German GP? Do I like it? I loved it. I only went to one. That was the 2019 Hockenheim race. And that was the year that was right up there with last weekend's Imola race. If every race for me was like that, I would just be over the moon. But if every race was like the Bahrain race, I wouldn't be doing it. That was a horrible, horrible race for me. I like lots of excitement and I want it right in front of me. I don't ask for much. Do you like Sydney? Gosh, I haven't been to Sydney. I flew through there recently and stayed a night with my sister-in-law. No, I don't love Sydney. I'd never live there. In fact, I don't even need to see any need to go there. Quite happy in Perth and other places. Melbourne I go to obviously for the GP, but I don't travel in Australia on holidays ever. In fact, I don't even like going on holidays. I like go to work. I like coming here and knowing that I've got a purpose and that you can measure your effectiveness. So one of the ways of measuring what I do is Instagram. You get an instant feedback. There are a number of people like that. If I only get 5,000 people like a picture, I'll know that's a crappy one. If I get 25,000, I know that's a good one. Best cities to live in Australia is Perth, without a doubt. Sydney Opera House, yes, it is lovely. Where in Australia would you recommend for someone in England to see? Well, you'll go to Sydney and you'll go to Cairns. That's what everybody does because it is the great holiday place. But you won't be doing that anytime soon, by the way, either, because Australia is not at all interested in anyone coming from overseas. They will spurn you as they would spurn a rabid dog. Rafin, yes, I see your name. You're the current recent member, but your status has been trumped by two people today. But only because I think I've got that mentality of I'm going abroad to work from touring as a lighting tech in a rock and roll and theatre environment. Very nice. Have you done any major tours? Yeah, I like going somewhere and having a purpose, not just wandering around, killing time and going back to the hotel and eating. What did you want to be as a child? I can't remember. What was the first driver you took a picture of? In F1? Oh, I can't remember because I did it at testing, but I found an old picture of Senna on the back of a motorbike at Adelaide. Adelaide some years ago, but I can't tell. And it wasn't certainly a groundbreaking moment for me. Did you start on your own or did you start working under experience? I started on my own. Although I did work for Sutton Images for the first year, which was great. Learned a lot there. I'm from the US, but Australia looks so beautiful and clean, and it is. Look, when you live in Australia and you go elsewhere, you realise we are very lucky, and Australians perhaps don't if they don't travel, don't realise how lucky they have it, and they whinge about things, and you think, oh, you should go and have a look at this place or this place. You have nothing to whinge about. Did the Taylor Swift tour a couple of years ago, rather large, with 96 Arctic trucks. That's a lot of trucks, just to hear some music. Are any I don't know where F1 drivers are. They're certainly not in my apartment or within eyeshot, so where they are, who knows. It's quite a nice background too, very muted. Bit of light coming in, lighting up that side of my face. I'm from India's financial capital. Okay. Do you like reading comments on your social media? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Of course I do. It gives you an idea of what people want. And often, and particularly on my YouTube videos, like I did one about the driver's shoes, and I openly said, look, I've spent ages trying to research these shoes, can't find them. Oh, that's the gel 380 or 180 or 360, something like that. Great. You've done the work for me, and I love that. I wish I had someone, and I have got a watch guy, Insane Luxury Lifestyle, where I just send him a picture of a watch. Say, what's this one? He'll come back like that. Yeah, that's the so-and-so. Retails for this, sells for that. And that's very handy to have. You know, I need experts in all fields. In fact, what I need is a car expert who I can say, oh, maybe I've got enough for that. It's good if I know who are the people that I can contact. I don't know Joe, but I've seen him a couple of times. I always value his opinion. Yeah, well, he was sitting not far from me at the last race. Perth Luxury is a supporter. Now, what is Perth Luxury? We can't see. Well, Perth's a good spot. Which Netflix show do you like to watch? Drive to Survive. Will Portugal be a good track for photographers? I'm going to know probably Friday. I'll report back. Do you ever get invited to photograph, or do you have to apply for a special pass? No, I'm permanently accredited, but this year, because there is limited capacity each track, you have to apply for each race, and they will tell you whether you get it. And I've got all of them so far up until Monaco, and fingers crossed that I get the rest. I don't feel intrusive when taking photos normally, because that's part of the deal, and the drivers are more than aware of that, and they all sign up for it. However, the other day when George and Valtteri had their incident and they were off the track and near me, I felt, oh, okay, what's the protocol here? Is it, you've got to shoot it, because you have to document stuff, no matter what it is, whether it's pleasant or nasty, you have to document it, because in years go by, those will be important photos and memories that, and even when Valtteri contacted me about the picture, because he and I have a commercial arrangement, he said, yeah, can I run these pictures? And I thought, okay, well, he's not frightened to put them up. He had a crash, and people want to know what happened, so that was nice. Why don't you have any Omegas? I don't like them. And here's your Rolex AD in Perth. AD. What's AD? Rolex AD. Daytona. Yeah, my sons are probably wearing them at the moment. But I'll never know, and as long as they're there when I get back. In fact, I once rented a watch to a guy that worked for me who wanted it. You're an authorised dealer. Oh, is your first name Marie, maybe? Hello, if that's the case. I must say I'm amazed that you can... Oh, disappeared. See if I can find it. Spend a whole year away living out of Airbnb and still be able to live well. Yeah, well, I have some good supporters, and people value the promotion. For instance, when I post the Airbnb address of this place after I leave, that owner will get considerable business from this, and it's much the same as anything in social media. If you put up a promotion for someone and they get value, they normally reward you. So there you go. Okay, another couple of questions and then we will finish. Were you okay after they both crashed? Yeah, nowhere near it. No, well, the parts didn't hit me or anything. Milton's happy to be a member. That's great. What camera would you recommend for someone wanting to start? Just go straight for the best. 1DX Mark III with a 70 to 200 lens. Or you can get a 7D, which is something that I used to use for wildlife as a budget option, but I don't know what's out there. Once you go for a camera like this, you don't want to go for anything less, although to a certain extent this is a lesser camera. It only shoots at 7 frames instead of 14, and I'm I don't like the autofocus system where you have your thumb on the back here because it gets in the way. But for some shots, this is fantastic. And I'll tell you that if you want to shoot low and you put this on the ground and you can have this screen looking at you, that is such a fantastic option. So it has its uses. Do you know exactly what's going on each race? No, I don't know at all half the time. Thank you to Chiro for being a member. Picking another. Oh, which is your favourite chocolate and ice cream? Okay, well, I'll tell you my favourite chocolate milk is this thing in Perth. Oh, I can't remember it now. Oh, shivers, okay. Other chocolates are like Ferrero Rochers and vanilla ice cream with chocolate topping. How many times have my shots ended up in magazines and news articles? Well, I believe my George shot is on the front cover of a British auto mag this week, and perhaps some Britons can tell me. Masters? Question mark. Oh, thank you. What is the cheapest and most reliable way to get a driver's signature if you can't go to the track? Just post something off to the teams, and I understand occasionally, and especially if you send a return envelope. It's like if you're British and you send a return envelope with a stamp on it, I imagine they'll just whack one of their standard signed cards in there and send it back to you. But you'll know if you try it. Chocolate bar. Cherry ripe. Now, only 5% of you will understand that. That's the Australians. What airlines do I always fly with? Mostly Emirates and Qatar out of Australia, but not this year because I'm not going back there. Do I know Charles well? I know him well enough to say hello, and he'll say hello back. What do you think of Max Verstappen from the perspective of what? Does he like to be photographed? I think he's ambivalent towards it. Not objectionable, not embracing it. Just knows that it's part of the deal. Okay, couple more questions. No, one more question. How about that? We're going 64 minutes. And I thank you for all of it. I'll take one last super question if somebody wants to chime in and get their questions answered. Who's the shyest to be photographed? No one's shy. Lewis is tricky because he'll often go out of his way to avoid you, but it's a bit of sport, I think, for both of us, really. And I'm certainly looking forward to Thursday, this race, seeing what he comes in wearing, because I missed that shot of him on Thursday wearing that bizarre tracksuit. Unfortunately for me, I decided I would go out to photograph the track walks, which means I get probably 15 different shots of 15 drivers, but I lose Lewis, so you've got to weigh it up. Do I want Lewis or do I want 15 drivers? Be nice if I could have both, but often not possible. I know you're in lockdown, Perth. Yes, my wife's been telling me. How are you just tuned in? I'm not sure what that means. Does driver know all the photographers? No, there's lots of photographers. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to press the X button up here in 3. Oh, here's a member. Who's that? Yes, I did that one. Okay, next Sunday, a live stream. Thank you, Phil. What else have I got coming up? A video coming up tomorrow, probably. I'll say tomorrow, might be today. Going to do another one on Thursday night. With a bit of luck, I'll do an intro to the weekend because I'll have had a chance to shoot all through the day and have some stories from that. And it'll be a long night. And thank you very much, Tom Bleeker, Thom, short for Thomas, I'm guessing. You're now a member, and that is much appreciated. So